You are tuned into my weekly talk radio TV show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced and get happy with Dr. Marissa. And this show is about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have shows and topics.
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days.
Monday, Tuesday,
Happy days.
Wednesday, Thursday,
Happy days.
Friday, whatever.
Happy days.
What a day. Na, 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 na.
I love you.
I love you too.
Best known as the mom from Happy Days, and she is a delightful 89-year young Marion Ross to my studio. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Dr. Marissa, this is such a treat for me.
Oh.
My goodness, you're a wonderment.
Which is exactly the kind of guest that I like. Those who have gone through life, good and bad, and then taken those experiences to alchemize them into the person they are now and doing good on the planet. I'd like you to welcome Corey Feldman.
If you're grateful for it and you say right away, thank you, God. Oh, my God, it's so beautiful. I'm so blessed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Then guess what? More good things will come to you.
Does this sound familiar at all? She's back again to mark my Cancer Awareness and Prevention Month show. Please welcome Fran Drescher. Hi, Fran.
On and supporting cancer schmance. I really appreciate it.
So what would you say are some of the biggest myths, Fran, that people have about cancer?
Well, I would say that they think that there's a cure for it.
Okay.
Instead of a cause for it.
This is the first call-in show when I get to be Dr. Marissa, the kinder, gentler Dr. Laura. And people call in to get their life tires balanced and their critical thinking or their BS, their belief systems, smog checked. And today I am delighted to have Malie calling in from Birmingham, Alabama.
We could go 90 days and end up having terrible sex. And then you say, well, the relationship's not all about sex. Well, if I'm not getting great sex from you, then I'm going to get it from somebody else. Right?
That moose just got put on the table. And I see Josh and Jim.
I have to agree
You're
with Clyde.
both nodding. Ramon's sort of half nodding because his wife's listening. But
I understood what was going to happen if Muhammad Ali's youngest daughter, made public that I was going to become a boxer. So I wanted to make sure this was the path that I wanted to go down.
You are absolutely fabulous, beautiful inside and out. And I'm giving you Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award today.
Thank you.
Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic point.
When I go, I'm gone.
Are you lonely?
No.
Nah, I knew that was going to be
But
the answer.
I surround myself with people. I mean, I'm always the one cooking for things. Or I'm always the one that decorates first and come to my house. All the orphans that have no place.
I'm going to have no place to go, so I can come over.
Come on over.
And life is so amazing if we can see it.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on CNBC News, NBC Sports Radio Station, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Podchaser, JioSaavn, Tiki Live, Rumble, almost made it there. It's Friday, and more. And this is a show about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal, no K words, no Kardashian talk, no Kanye talk at all. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So there's topic and guests to that end, and as well as special series. And just in time is my fabulous co-host. Her name is Cynthia Kahi. She's an entrepreneur, business owner. She's got a new product coming in to stores near you. She's a mom. She's got a wonderful book and workbook. You can do hard things. What else have I forgotten? She's just plain fun. And we have this series here called Fired Up Fridays with Dr. Marissa and
Cynthia Kahi.
So welcome back to the studio, Cynthia.
Thank you very much. Good morning. Happy Friday.
Yippee yahoo. and let's get started with breakfast, taking a bite of our gratitude sandwich together. And I'll start, and it might be a little longer because I'd like us just to take a breath and a moment to appreciate all of those who have risked their lives to go and fight and defend our democracy, our freedom for this country. It is Veterans Day. I want to specifically thank my sound engineer, Polly's family. Many members of his family have served, and that's the Ortiz family. I'd like to thank my mom was unofficially adopted by a Russian Jewish woman, Anna Blum. Her husband, my grandpa, Carl Blum, served in both World War I and II. My bonus dad, Graham Martin, served in the Korean War. And you might remember Anna Ford, who came on and was interviewed. You might want to get that from my YouTube channel. An amazing interview about really the realities of what it is to serve and actually kill people and the trauma that that causes. So I absolutely want to honor them. I dream of a world where we don't have war, but in the meantime, I want to express extreme gratitude to those who have served on this Veterans Day. Cynthia, do you have people that you want to mention before we take a 1 minute breath?
Well, my grandpa served, Al, and he has since passed, but he served. And then the gentleman I'm seeing, his son has served, Tyler. And there are many people at the restaurant that I know who have served. So each and every one of them, I thank you and we honor you on this Veterans Day.
Yes. So let's just gently close our eyes, palms up in your lap, feet on the ground, taking a deep breath in through the nose and releasing. Soft shoulders, soft elbows, soft knees. Another deep breath in and releasing all the stories and the drama. And engaging the mind. One last deep breath in. Connecting with me and all of the veterans worldwide as we pray for a world of peace, knowing that we're all one, and honoring those and thanking them for all that they have done. And release. And when we're ready, open your eyes, come back to the room. Happy Veterans Day to all. Thank you for joining me in that. And thank you for the thumbs up. Cynthia, what are you grateful for? Well, actually, we both did veterans, right? So my turn. I'm grateful that, let's see, I just love the way that the sun and the air smell, feel, look after a nice big storm. It's really beautiful. So I'm grateful for the storm.
Yes. I am grateful for the sunshine. I love waking up to the sunshine. Sun shining through my windows, beautiful start to my day.
I am grateful for birds that sing for no reason at all. And the sound of them. When I was down at the pool, there's this particular bush, over here, and they just, and then of course, when I did my story and panned over there, they stopped singing. Camera shy. One more gratitude.
I really like that one. Somebody made me stop and watch the birds the other day, and I was like, oh, this is really nice. So I'm grateful for the birds that sing. They're so cute.
Aren't
Those little
they?
finches, they're so tiny.
Yeah.
Super cute. I
I still have a scar from this cockatoo that thought my finger was the food that I was feeding. They got
Doesn't
sharp
taste as good.
beaks, but it's a
They
good thing.
do.
They're cute. And now we go to the bottom of the bun. Thank you for the thumbs up. I see people marching in and their eyeballs rolling, literally. Thank you for coming and streaming. And feel free to do your gratitudes in the chat. We are going to be talking about the reality and how to get to unlimited possibilities that we keep talking about because it's in the title of our series, Going Up, #UP. But before that, let's finish breakfast with the bottom of the bun. 8 appreciations about who we are, exercising our muscle to approve of ourselves. So we're not constantly looking for getting love from the wrong places or the likes. So, what do you appreciate about yourself, Cynthia?
I appreciate my grit. These last 2 weeks have been really rough. So I appreciate my grit. I have a smile on my face this morning, which is great.
Yay! Yeah, I don't think I've ever used the word grit. I like that.
Yeah.
I appreciate my smile, and that I when I smile, it's like everything smiles.
Yeah.
My
It
eyes,
does. You have a
my
beautiful
nose.
smile.
Thank you.
Beautiful smile. I appreciate my positive attitude. It is key, and when I don't have it, whew, it's like a whole new world. It's like a different person. It's crazy. So I appreciate my positive attitude.
I appreciate my ability to be creative with words.
You are very good at that, by the way.
Thank you.
I appreciate my patience. Sometimes I am quick, but there are times when it's important and it's necessary, and I dig in and I go, well, maybe I should just. Patience is good.
Not in my vocabulary, but that's okay. I have no P words. A final appreciation. I appreciate. Oh, what did I had it. I appreciate my ability to focus, and I will focus on what is the best feeling thought that I could have in this moment. So every moment I have a choice to think about something that's happy making or sad or angry making, and I 88% of the time choose the happy. And that is it for breakfast with Cynthia Kahi and Dr. Marissa here this morning on Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show and special series, Fired Up Fridays with Dr. Marissa and
Cynthia Kahi.
Just to remind us where we are and what we're doing. But Cynthia, talk to me about the topic, which is #unlimited possibilities. We've been using that word a lot. We've been not necessarily defining what we mean and maybe applying it to what we're doing in our lives. It's a nice thing to say. It's a nice dream. I'm going to come in with a little bit of reality after Cynthia talks about her her view of this. Because this is what's kind of cool is like I'll ask her obviously every week, what do you want to talk about? And she'll say something and I will come back with a different angle on the same thing. And she's like, oh, okay. Which is why it's called Fired Up. I never realized that that's how you even define fired up, as that we don't have to agree on things, but it's kind of morphed into that. And I'm glad because we are quintessential examples. I love that word. Of how we can agree, disagree, and still be on that same plane of respect and love and appreciation. And that's not something that is necessarily the norm these days. Because when you disagree, unfriend, unfollow, delete, ban, block, it's very easy to do that. And so I appreciate that, Cynthia, that you have brought that into my realm.
Well, thank you. It's a mindset. I started the Facebook group, You Affirmations and Positive Mindset, because on my self-development journey, I learned how important it was. Like you say with the appreciations, you have to find it within yourself. You can't look for it somewhere else. I understand that life happens, and that's what has been happening to me for the last 2 weeks. The life of the entrepreneur is not for the faint of heart. I'm just like, it takes a lot of grit. It takes a lot of wherewithal. It takes a lot of mental toughness. And part of that, the root of that is really your positive mindset and unlimited possibilities. Because if you don't start there, if that's not the basis of everything that you filter all of your decisions through, you filter all of your responses through, then what happens? You tend to sway to the other side. I mean, it'll get you, and you can recognize it, right? There were some hard days. I recognized it. It's not going to last forever. And I have to think about what's coming next. How am I going to push myself to keep going to what's next? Well, I have to reach in and really use my grit. And I've said this before, but it's so important. I focus on my gratitude. What can I do? Right? It's the root. Like your heart is where you center your love, right? So if you don't have love, if you're thinking about all the negative that's going on and you're not filling your heart with all of the love that you have, I really believe that it'll change your world. It really will. So gratitude centers from your heart, and then your routine, keep with your routine. Even if life gets crazy, if you don't do all of your routine, right? You stay with part of your routine because it helps keep you balanced. It helps keeps you rooted. You're not flailing about. You still have that anchor of the root, right? And then your intentionality. Think about what you're going towards. Don't think about what's happening right now, because right now it's not so pretty. So we think about what we're going towards, right? We anchor ourselves in what's coming, what we know we're working for, the intentionality. And then the time, I say it's consistency. But in these cases where you're really in the grind of it, you got to give it the time to get through it. It's not going to last forever. And if it's lasting a long time, then you got to evaluate and say, what am I doing? Like, how can I make it different? It's really a cool process.
So give me the key steps. So when you're going through hard stuff, right? And you maybe don't feel like there's unlimited possibilities, you're saying, if I heard correctly, one is don't look at what is, focus on your vision of what you're going towards, right? So don't get stuck in the mud of what is. So that's one. Another one is focus on things that you're grateful for instead of things that you're frustrated with, right?
Right.
And did I get it?
Yeah, but if you do it in the order of the model grit, GRIT.
Oh, see, that's
the
why I
model.
asked. I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't get that. And I knew
That's
that
okay.
there was something there. I'm glad I
Yeah.
asked.
Yeah.
So
So it's really what I came up with because, I was going in the very beginning of my entrepreneur journey. There was a lot happening, and I read the book Grit by Angela Duckworth, and you can build your grit. Grit is the wherewithal. Grit is the thing that keeps you going. There was a study about somebody who was running on a treadmill and how long they could run on a treadmill. And then every day they came back and ran on the treadmill. And so that was part of the process of learning your grit. And so the more you do it, you can practice it, you can build it. So it's not something you're born with or you're not born with, right? You can actually build it. And that was part of the reason why I came up with this model. And when I came up with this model, I said, anybody can do it. That's why I say, yes, you can. It's that it all starts with mindset. It all starts with your mindset.
Yep.
And
Yep.
things will tick away at it. Things will chip away at it. It'll spiral sometimes.
Right.
But if you have that basis of how you can get through it, which is the grit model, gratitude, routine,
Oh, routine. I put resilience.
intentionality.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Routine. I'm your secretary right now.
It's in my book.
And it's in your book. And where can you
Intentionality.
get your book? Intentionality. And what's the last one?
Time, which basically equals your consistency.
Okay. There we go. And I'll put that up.
Oh, thank you.
Of course.
Yeah,
And
that's
that is-
something that is really powerful and it really works. I mean, if you're floundering and you're thinking, oh my gosh, what's happening? Like, how is this happening to me? What did I do? Where did I, you know what I mean? But it comes from the core of it's temporary. Life is happening for me and not to me. It really is just this whole mindset. It's this whole turn. And, how I started doing it was really learning about myself, self-development, being self-aware. What was I doing to myself? How was I coping? What was I doing? And I had some bad habits. I had some really bad habits.
Like?
I feel like I changed those. Well, drinking was one of them.
Oh,
Be
okay.
honest. Yeah, drinking was one of them.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah, it's just an escape. And then I'd hang out with people that I probably shouldn't have hung out with. And then I, was staying out late. Why am I staying out late? I'm I got 3 kids at the time I was married. I'm like, obviously this is not good.
Yeah.
But it was a habit and it was a coping. And it took me a while to figure out what I was doing. I thought I was having fun. I thought it was fun. I still am fun, but in different reasons, I root it differently. So the root, that's why I say it's all a crazy process, but absolutely wonderful. That's why I say evaluate, reflect, ask yourself, what are you doing well? What are you not doing well? And how can you improve? But the trick in that is you really got to be honest with yourself. So when you ask me, well, tell me, what were you doing? Well, I was drinking. I'm being honest because
no. And that's why I asked you is because, sometimes people look at people like what we do, motivational speakers, coaches, and I think that it's important. And I we get put on a pedestal sometimes, oh, they know, they have a model, they have a book, they have whatever. But the reality is, we didn't, this wasn't an overnight thing. This was a journey of self-discovery and awareness and knowing what doesn't work. Right. We went out, I was in the same boat after the divorce. I went crazy, first out of the box. I was like, wow, I can actually put myself in situations where I feel desired because I spent my sentence was 9.2 years of a marriage where I was not desired and it was blatant. And it sounds like I'm blaming him, but I'm not, because I chose to be in a relationship where that was the norm. And 7 out of 10 of us who've had childhood trauma usually pick men who don't affirm our worthiness, because we don't know what that feels like, or we're not comfortable with that because that's not how we grew up. So I did go crazy. I did create really bad habits. I think alcohol, drugs, and food, and shopping, and gambling are easy bad habits to get into, because when you're in that state, you're not in pain from the mental mindset that you're carrying. So it's not uncommon to get addicted to stuff because it's an escape. But then the consequences from the escape outweigh the benefits of the escape, and that's when it's time to take a look at that. And you and I both did, and I haven't drank in 13 and a half years, and I'm grateful for that. Yeah, I'm naturally high.
Oh, that's amazing. I did not know that.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you knew that. Yeah.
But that's fabulous.
Thank you. Well, and it's fabulous for you too. I think, and I'm not saying that you have to stop drinking altogether if you're a person that can take it or leave it, but I think the examination of what habits, I like when you mention habits. What are my habits? Are my habits to stay up till 3 a.m. watching and binging on shows that really don't? I mean, I'm all for entertainment. I love movies. I saw the comedy with that one you told me about. It was so cute with Julia Roberts and what's his name?
Clooney.
The guy. So he, so I'm all about entertainment, but I know, and I'm saying this to, not to shame you or me, but if we create the habit of staying up until 3 a.m. watching things that really don't matter in the end, then we're losing out on the following day. We're losing out on our ability to be fresh and receiving inspiration because we're so tired. And then when we get tired, we get angry or depressed. And then, that's a slippery slope. So the power of your habits. So I like your routine part of your model. So that is so important. For those of you who've just tuned in, I see more eyeballs. Thank you for coming and joining us on Fired Up Fridays, so you know what day it is, with co-host Dr. Marissa and
Cynthia Kahi.
And we're talking about hashtag UP Unlimited Possibilities. And Cynthia just gave a great model from her book, You Can Do Hard Things, called Grit. Now, I'm going to take a step backwards because I just love putting the moose on the table, which is my Canadian version of talking about the elephant in the room, because I think this is a realistic mindset that some people carry, and I want to address it. I'm not going to pretend it does not exist, because especially now after the pandemic, when let's say you're a small business owner who did not make it through the pandemic, you couldn't, the stimulus and the loans were not enough, or you didn't qualify for them, or for whatever reason, all the money that you poured into that business is gone, and you cannot look another way and be positive about that loss. And you thought that there were unlimited possibilities because when you started this business, everything seemed like it was going good. You also are now faced with all of the barrage of negative stuff on the news, corruption in the government, war in Ukraine and Russia, today's Veterans Day, all the people who've lost their lives, children starving, the price of gas. Every onslaught of negative news is coming at you, and you look at me and go, come on, Dr. Marissa, be real. How can I say? You might be able to say unlimited possibilities. You get to go to a pool and a gym in the morning. You get to post and at the sunsets and from where you are, but that's bullshit-talky for me because I lost so much. On top of that, I grew up, I'm one of the 7 out of 10, and I had a crappy childhood. I've scraped together, I've worked hard, and now I've lost everything. I call your unlimited possibilities bullshit-talky, and you don't have a right to say that for me. Now, I hope that no one's that adamant about that, but just in case, that's the extreme that some person may be feeling that way. And if you are, thank you for being honest. Thank you for putting the moose on the table. Thank you for putting the scenario to challenge me and Cynthia with the how can you possibly get to where we are when you have that particular mindset that you have righteous indignation about, right? You have every right to feel badly about the loss that you've had, right? That's real. That's not made up. Okay. So I would like you to take an 88,000 foot look at life and the world. Einstein says the most important question that a human being can answer is the universe friendly or not? And if you choose to say, as you just laid out, that it is not friendly, there is no evidence of a friendly universe. Otherwise, we wouldn't have gone through the pandemic. We wouldn't have global warming. We wouldn't have children dying. We wouldn't have Auschwitz. We wouldn't have all of hate crimes. We wouldn't have all the things that we do if it was a friendly universe. And yes, you can adopt that BS, that belief system, that mindset. And if you do, the strength of your mind and conviction and BS will then bring for you evidence of that mindset. And guess what? You won't even be able to see anything that is working for your good, that is working for you instead of to you. You won't be able to see it because you're so vested in the universe is not friendly. So that's the consequence. You have every right to choose that mindset, but the consequences are you're going to be holding your breath, waiting for the other shoe to drop, even if you accept good things. You're going to be waiting for someone to break your heart. You're going to be waiting for something to happen bad. You're going to be waiting for someone to steal from you, and that will be your future. You will be projecting your BS onto your future, and you will see what you expect. That's the law of attraction. Instead, and I'm going to let you talk, Cynthia. I'm on my soapbox for a second because I want to fully address that.
Yeah.
And that is, if you choose instead to take your focus from all the things that are wrong and actually put on a different set of glasses. I'm not denying that all that stuff is there. I am not pretending that that doesn't exist, but I'm also balancing out all the bad and focusing on what is good. That's Cynthia's G in her great. I see birds that sing for no reason. I see an ocean that every single drop of water, every single blade of grass, every single grain of sand, every single leaf on a tree is different. That didn't happen by accident. All 7.5 billion of us on the planet have unique talents, gifts, and ability. We did not die last night because the planets went haywire and crashed into each other. There is a power. I call it my UPS man, my universal power source that delivers every morning when I pray and meditate. It's just a name for non-chaos, for beauty, for love, for peace, for creativity, for innovation. That's the name for it. And I choose to focus on evidence of that. And guess what happens? Then the negative stuff, it may still be there, but it's not up close and personal because I choose to do this to open myself up for more of that good. And that, my friends, I believe is the first step to get you on the road for unlimited possibilities. Because if you can't, at a fundamental level, think that the universe is friendly, then you will only see evidence that it's not. I rest my case.
Well, I think it's absolutely true, and I agree with all of the things, but this is why I'm so passionate, and this is why I wrote the book, because I said, so the book is You Can Do Hard Things, is because nobody taught me, nobody told me when I was younger how powerful my mind was, all of the capabilities that I had inside of me. If it's to be, it's up to me. So when I share it, I'm hoping for the ripple effect. So the more I do it, I drop my pebble, even if you get one little inkling from how I speak or what I exude, right? My vibration. If you get any of that, I feel like I am contributing to the good of the universe. That is why I am who I am, because I want to leave you better than I found you. Some people might think that that's, I don't know the right word, whatever the word is, whatever. But it's how I live. And if somebody didn't show me, then I wouldn't be who I am right now, right? I chose to use that information and change how I live my life. Now that's in somebody else's hands. But for me as a human being and humankind, right? I spread human kindness. That is what I do. That is who I am. That is who I want everyone to see that they can be. So for this person, right, that is stuck in the weeds, doesn't think there's anything good, I will sit, if I hear it, it's a huge radar for me. I'm like, dee, 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 dee. And you're saying it. And it's actually hurting me because I know that there's a better way. I know that there's something different. Part of the process is that you have to learn to just do baby steps. People want to go to the top. People want things to change in an instant, but that's not how it works. You have to work on it. In order for you to change, you have to make a change. If you don't think that by changing, something's going to change, just give it a try. Because that's the hard part. People don't want to try to make the change. And when they don't make the change, nothing happens.
Yeah.
And so then they keep the perpetual cycle of everything's happening to me. This is terrible. Oh my gosh, did you hear this? And that's what they continually feed on. Mm-hmm. It's just their way of life. Mm-hmm. So the reason why I am the way I am is because I choose to live that way, because the alternative to me is not living, right? It's not enjoying. It's not the whole basis of why we're created. We're created to do good. We're created to be better. We're created to give to the world, right? And so the opposite to me is exactly that, just the opposite. But I believe maybe they just weren't shown how. Maybe those life circumstances got them in a way where, there wasn't that one person that stepped into their life that said, yes, you can. Absolutely. Yes, you can. And you know why? Because you're human. You just have to learn what works for you. Mm-hmm. That's it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Take one little thing.
Yep, absolutely. And Cecilia, good morning to you. I am glad to see your eyeball in the chat. And we are talking about unlimited possibilities here on the very special Friday series, Fired Up Fridays with Dr. Marissa and co-host. And we'll be right back after a brief commercial break here. Stay tuned. And we'll be right back here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. And what if conforming to the world was exploring the world? What if the question, what do you want to be when you grow up, little girl, turns into how many streets of life you want to explore? What if the purpose of life is not to die with the most toys to leave our squabbling relatives? What if the purpose of life was to do things that we enjoy most of the time, have relationships that we enjoy most of the time, and use our unique talents, gifts, and abilities to fully express in the dash between birth and death? What if, as a direct result of this horrible pandemic, we could rise out of the ashes with a new PPP, post-pandemic possibilities? The sooner you turn "it's impossible" to "I'm possible," the what ifs become possible too. Because you are loving, lovable, and loved, wrapped in a warm blanket of worthiness. But it may start with getting out of bed and making it. What if starts with
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News Radio, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, and my YouTube channel, where we are streaming live, as well as LinkedIn and Facebook, where you can get all past 817 shows, but who's counting, here on my 470th consecutive week. Thank you so much for following. You will also get the full version of that for my first short film called PPP, Post-Pandemic Possibilities, that is helping people return to work in a more positive manner. If you are interested in using that, I'm grateful that it got its first laurel. Please do contact me at drmarissa.life, and I'll be happy to speak with you about using the film. There's a companion guide. And as well, you saw the commercial before that. It is the Knuckleball, which is the baby, the fourth child of Cynthia Coffey, my co-host, that is in the works to come to a store near you. And you saw how yummy that looked. And want to welcome new followers, Heidi Ho and Chris Drums, who are joining us on Instagram. Please do remember to put comments down. If you guys on Instagram can move over to YouTube, that would be great, because this does take away from the signal. So I'm going to have to close it soon. But we are talking about hashtag unlimited possibilities. So I just went and did something that Cynthia wasn't that comfortable with, because it doesn't align with her wanting to stay up there. But I did it on purpose because it is a journey. And if you are in that place where you really cannot believe in unlimited possibilities, I'm hoping that me putting the moose on the table was permission for you to start there. And now you have a choice. You can stay there, or you can move to a place. It's not the only way to move, but Cynthia has a way with her models. I have a way with my models in 8 Ways to Happiness. There's many different ways for you to embrace your life so that it is not such a pain. As in my movie, it'll say, life does not suck. And it really doesn't. And it is the express wish of both of us that you have the best life possible. Yes.
Yes, it's absolutely true. And again, I think a lot of times we don't know how to seek new information. We just accept what is. And so for some people, because it's what they know, right? It took that little extra something for me. There was just this pull. I wanted more. I don't know what it was. I'll call it my UPS man because at the time, I didn't know God. I wasn't spiritual at all. I just had this pull. And I didn't know exactly what I wanted, but I just knew there was more. So I just started to seek. I bought myself a ticket. I went to a seminar, and literally that was the switch that it took. That one $99 ticket. It was $99. And I said, I'm going to give it a try. I went all by myself. Nobody came with me. I went on an adventure and I said, let's just see what happens. Again, it was that inside of me, that little bit of a pull. And I wasn't in a spot where I was like, oh my gosh, the world is, not for me. But I was in the spot of, why do I keep making these choices? What am I doing this for? How are these habits helping me, or are they not helping me? And so I started to, what kicked it off?
Tell me.
21 days, no drinking. I needed to get clear.
Mm.
That's a really good point that really started it, was clarity. Getting rid of the noise, getting rid of all of those extra things that are clouding your thoughts, your judgment, your heart, right? What is it deep down inside for you? Listening to your inner self. That was really important, actually. Forgot about that for a little bit. But 21 days, no drinking, and I needed to get clear, and I needed to ask myself some really hard questions. Really hard questions.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
That is a great example of what anybody can do is, set the intention for more clarity. So what's getting in the way of your clarity? Is it the drinking? Is it going out with just anybody? Is it shopping? Is it what is it? Is it that voice in your head that keeps telling you that you're not good enough? And that's the model that I use. If you, in chapter 1, Out of Loneliness into Hope, the model I use is to name those voices in your head. We all have voices in our head. I know we're told when we're young, if you hear voices in your head, you're crazy. But the truth is, everybody has voices, and especially that one that keeps telling you should have done this, you shouldn't have done that, who says that, and you're not all that, and how dare you. Those voices can definitely get in the way of your having a clear, peaceful, happy, 88% of the time life. And so for me, that is the core activity to start with, to get some clarity. Whatever it is our hope that you see yourself as important enough, especially during this holiday season, especially during the pandemic. I think one of the blessings, or the hashtag COVID silver lining, is many people stopped and asked that question that Cynthia is talking about. Am I happy right now? What am I doing? Right? Am I getting in my own way here? Like, what is life really about? And I think that blessing that happened as a result of the pandemic is something that we can be grateful for. And I hope that you have taken that query for yourself. I do once a month. I'm going to use this to invite anybody once a month, the last Friday of the month, to Zoom, or sorry, I'm doing StreamYard now, but to come online with me and spend an hour asking yourself that question. And it's free. So go to drmarissa.life. The last Friday is going to be the Friday of Thanksgiving. And, you've already stuffed yourself. So Friday night at 7, happy to have you join me. So thank you, Lisa Martin, for coming on as well. What, Cynthia, would you say is for people who who do have the mindset, they want unlimited possibilities, but every time they turn around and try something new, entrepreneurs, this is for you, this idea, and then that falls through, and this idea, and that falls through. What do you say to keep you on track, or when do you know when to hold and when to fold?
It's a good one. When to hold and when to fold. Um, I believe that life gives you lessons. So if there's something happening and you keep getting the same lesson, learn. Learn from it. Because if you don't change what you're doing, the same thing will keep happening. So there's a reason, right? We think we're doing it the right way. We think we're doing everything right, but obviously we're not. You have to ask yourself. Priorities first, right? What is the priority? What am I trying to attain by doing whatever the cycle is that I'm doing, right? If I'm trying to make more money, if I'm trying to grow my team, that was one for me, trying to grow my team. I was like, what is happening? Why am I not doing it right? So I had to reach outside. I finally hired a recruiter. I said, I'm not doing it right. There's something I don't have, or there's something that I'm lacking that isn't getting me the results that I want. So, like our great friend says, Greg Reed, you seek counsel, not advice, right? You seek counsel. You look for others who've done it before. So I hired a recruiter. I'm looking for a manager in my restaurant. I haven't found the right one yet. I just haven't found the right one. Or, people have made choices that they don't want to be the one. And so I had to look at that. So that's number one. You have to look at your priorities. What am I trying to attain? Why am I? And then the second one is, well, what is it that I'm lacking? Because it all starts and stops with you. I don't care what anybody says. You want to play the victim? Everything starts and stops with you. You have to do the work on the inside to see what it is that is lacking, a habit that's gone wrong or that's not serving you. Those little things will give you the insight to make different decisions. When you make different decisions, then you get different results. So that's what I've done. Fold up, honestly, I've never folded yet. Like, I used to have this saying, I either get what I want or I change my mind. I still use it. It's in my back pocket every once in a while. So that it's a mind thing though, right? Right? It's a mind thing because I'm telling myself, well, if I didn't achieve it, then I didn't really want it, right? I'm telling myself, if I didn't get what I thought I wanted, at the time, because you'll change, right?
Right.
You'll change.
I think that's an important, some people say, but I wanted to be, a quarterback in the NFL, and there's 60. And although that one quarterback didn't get in, what was the movie? I watched the movie. It was really good. I mean, he was older and should not have been able to do what he had. I don't know names. I don't know.
I can't.
But it was a really good one. But changing your mind is an important. It's not a failure if you change your mind. It is failure if you continue to do something and you're not getting the results you want, but you continue to do it, right? That's the definition of insanity, right? You keep doing something that's giving you the same results and you expect different results. So I think wisdom, I love the serenity prayer. For me, the serenity prayer is my go-to, like your gratitude. I mean, I go to gratitude too, but for me, accepting the things I cannot change. So I quit banging my head up against the proverbial wall and there's blood all over, but I keep banging my head there, which is stupid of me, right? Not useful. And then the courage to change the things I can. If I know myself that I have a tendency to give up too easily, if I've been given that feedback, you don't finish, I got to look at that.
Yep.
Right? So the courage to change the things I can, that's the bad habits we were talking about, not useful habits. I like to stay away from good, bad, right, wrong. Is it useful or not so useful? And then the wisdom to know the difference. I think that in every moment, if I can give an honest assessment of what I'm doing right, what I'm doing that's useful, what I'm doing to shoot myself in the foot, and the courage to change so that I'm not shooting myself in the foot. I think that's a very useful and happy making decision, right?
I like that.
Yeah.
Useful and not useful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I
Good. We are up against the last 4 minutes.
I know. So I just want to put this out there because you always ask me at the end, what's the one
Yes.
piece of advice? Here's
Yes.
something that really changed my perspective. The word abundance. If you know that there is abundance for everyone out there, there's abundance in love, there's abundance in money, there's abundance in relationships, there's abundance of joy. If you know that you can have anything you set your mind to, if you have that abundance mindset, that's the thing that really changed it. And here's the other part that goes with it. If you don't have the abundance mindset, most of the time you're in comparison, you're in lack. You're always comparing yourself to somebody else because of the things that either you've grown up with or the experiences that you've had. But it's on my vision board. It's on my water label. It's my word for the year, abundance. It's that underlying in the back of my head because I noticed that there was some times where I was comparing and I was like, So anyway, if I had to give one thing, think of the word abundance for all.
Fantastic. And to highlight that, every time I take a breath, and I did that with our opening segment with the Veterans Day, every time I take a breath, it is a symbol of abundance because when I take a breath, I take nothing from you. When you take a breath, you take nothing from me. There's more than enough breath to go around. So that is my symbol. So every time I breathe in abundance.
Okay, I like that.
You like that? So I don't
like
even have
that.
to think about it. I
Yeah.
just breathe. And it's important to do that because we grow up in a society that is counter to that. If you think about the way regular people in organizations, it's a hierarchy. So yes, if I get something, you're not promoted. If they get promoted, I'm not promoted. It is a fixed buy and it's a dog eat dog world and it's a rat race. So we grow up with that BS. That's bullshitaki. That's a belief system that keeps us from believing in unlimited possibilities. So if you want to go up, you got to drop that BS.
That's right.
Yes?
Yes, absolutely. Abundance. Pick a word, we'll do that next time. We'll do that for next show. I like
Good.
that.
Sounds good.
Yes.
Sounds good. We're at the end of the top of the hour. Thank you so much for joining us for Fired Up Fridays with Dr. Marissa and
Cynthia Kahi.
Now go and have the best weekend ever. Remember, it's all about balance. Peace in, peace out.
Peace out.
World peace through inner peace. Happy Veterans Day. Thank you so much again.
Fired up.